All right, my friends, I got to show you this. This is a local Mandela effect that when I first started getting into the Mandela effect and being awake to this, I was like, I saw these ones that were being poured around the world, like things like John F. Kennedy, 4 in the car versus 6, and Berenstain Bears. We've just seen a ton of these, right? And this was about 3.5, 4 years ago. Let's see, 15, 16, 17. About 4 years ago, right? Well, anyway, I got to tell you about this local Mandela effect, because talking to Brother Raleigh, he's in Idaho, and we were talking about some local Mandela effects he has. He's had gas stations change, trees move around. I mean, this guy, and he'll go and start asking questions to people that always have a backstory. Well, it was always this way, or well, I don't know. I've only worked here for a couple months. That's all I always get. I've only worked here, brief time. You can't ever pin it down. Well, anyway, so here's this one I'm going to tell you. It's kind of interesting because when it first started, I was looking for local Mandela effect stuff. If it's real on a global scale or even a larger geographic or historical or book, whatever, music scale, there's got to be something local, right? And this is one that really kind of shocked me. And you got to hear this one because I'm gonna explain the background of what happened here. So I'd gone to, this is called Brighton, Colorado. It's about 10 miles north of Denver and off to the east. And I can show you the map later. I'll pull back here. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and not sitting there. I drove out there because they had a festival. I think it was the 4th of July was coming up. Or no, it was just, I think it was just some general, somewhere in the summertime festival, right? And I was all excited because I like to go to these festivals. They had a small farmers market. So this whole street had been blocked off here. And not, no, it had been, not completely blocked, but it's mostly blocked off, and so people could walk up and down this and stuff like that, right? Well, anyway, so here's the story. And I got there during the daytime. It was around 10 or 11, so I hung around until about 5 o'clock, and they had a bunch of cool stuff, typical festival stuff, trinkets to sell on the streets, and some face painting, and just all this summer festival balloons for the kids, and and some just basic small town festival, right? Well, anyway, so I was coming back is around about 5:30 because they shut that one down early for some reason, I can't remember. So there was this place, right? See this, it says see what's it say, what's it say? It says Kismet Stars now. Okay, see this building right here? I'm going to tell you what's wild about this building. So there was, okay, I keep scooting around. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make this fast. You have to listen to, you got things to do, and so do I'm sure. And, those scary. Well, anyway, so I walk into these doors because they had this old a bunch of antique stuff. It is an antique store, right? And they sold antiques, different types of clothing and trinkets and all that stuff, right? It was really cool. So there was 2 ladies in there, and I started talking to them, and they're from back east, but owned this place for, I think she said it was 15 years. Yeah, something like 15 years that they had owned this little business. I can't even remember the name of it now because I wasn't really paying attention to the stuff they had in there. So when I was talking to her, they had these hats, and they're like this cowboy. They had 2 cowboy hats I really liked, right? But the thing is, I didn't bring enough cash on me, and I didn't have my credit card. I just brought cash, and I didn't have enough money to buy these hats. And I'm like, well, so I was talking to him, and I wear them and put them on. I said I really liked them because I said these things were really they're really high quality for the price. I mean, something like they're cutting me a deal. And I actually did buy some things. I bought some shirts off of them. Yeah, I think, and some other things. What did I buy? Some shirts and some antique Western shirts, and I can't remember some stuff. I did buy a little bit, but I didn't have much of the hats. I said I'll come back, right? And they said, well, they got me a really great deal. Really nice ladies, right? And I said I'll come back and buy those hats. And I said, can I get your number? Because I couldn't find these. I can't remember what they were. They're really high quality, like I said, high quality. So I said, can I come back and buy them? So they couldn't cut me like, oh my God, it's terrible, like $20 a piece versus they're worth, some might be 250 to 400. And they knew they were worth a lot. And they said, well, they'll look on, and we're just trying to get rid of them because they said we're trying to reduce our inventory. So she gave me her phone number. One of them, she said, here's my phone number. She goes, I have to go back east, like to Kentucky or something, because we got some family stuff we need to take care of. So we're not gonna be here. But she goes, come back, She said it's going to be a brief trip. I said, oh, really? She goes, yeah. She said, we're just going to go back there and be back within a week. I said, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll just come back next weekend. So I know the story. So anyway, So I said, okay, I'll be back. So, the week goes through, and so they had another, it was like back to back. It was crazy. They had a back to back festivals at this, in Brighton here. And one was like, I don't know, I can't remember, some springtime thing. And then they had another one that I can't remember what it was, some other festival, right? Well, anyway, so I'm down there and I said, well, I'm going to go stop by them, to buy those hats. I brought my money and everything. And guess what? That thing, it was some kind of, it was called some antique store. It didn't exist. I kid you not. I walk up to the doors and all the antique stuff was gone and it was replaced by this place. It was like this whole crystal stones thingy, right? And I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? I walk in and I'm like, where are the two ladies? I mean, this thing was full. I mean, full of antique crap. I mean, you could not move through the inside of this place. I mean, it had so much stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, within a week, what's going on here? And I'm like looking around and I'm like, and then so there was some lady there. I was looking for, I said, I thought this was an antique store. She goes, oh, no, no, it's been a rock store. I said, how long? She goes, oh, like 5 years. And I said, well, yeah, but I said, I was here just last weekend. I said, I came back to buy some hats, even from, some cowboy hats from, two ladies that, had a business here. And she's like, looking at me, and not like in a weird, just not like I was freaky. She goes, well, no, no, we've been here 5 years. I said, are you sure? She goes, yes. She goes, and I said, well, I don't recognize this. I thought this store was, I said, you didn't just move or anything like that? She goes, no. And I said, okay, well, I guess that's kind of weird. So I walk scratching my head saying, well, I guess they ain't buying the damn hats. I mean, kidding me, right? And I still, remember, I still have the other stuff material I bought from the shirts and stuff and some other Western trinkets. I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. And this is my first local shocking Mandela. I walk through those doors. I'm like, what is going on, right? So, that's one thing she did say. I said, well, do you know any place that has an antique a store, right on this? She goes, no, there's no antique stores here. She goes, they know because I guess they worked there for 5 years. And I said, there's no antique. She goes, well, I don't think so. She said, there might be one like 3 blocks to the west. And I said, but she goes, I don't think they don't really just make carries a few items. She goes, there's no antique. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What? You kidding me? So I went to this up and down here again and checking out. And there's even this guy, Hispanic, and I started talking to him. And they were from like Mexico. And his wife had just, he was talking about his wife, that she was Mandela effect awake. Because I said, man, I said, I want to freak you out, but right across the street there. And he wasn't from Brighton, but he goes, yeah. I said, that was an antique store not a week ago, my friend. And he goes, oh, really? I said, yeah. I said, you heard about it? He goes, yeah, I've heard about it. So even Mexico, they were from Mexico. But he was, he said, my wife's been talking all about that Mandela effect, even in Mexico. So they are awake internationally, right? They were. And he says, and I said, it's really, he goes, oh, yeah. She said, it's really. I said, you believe it's really? He goes, yeah, well, I think so. It probably is. And so anyway, so I talked to him about it. It's so weird. So I'm heading more of the story. So I leave this store that was antique, right? And that afternoon, I actually, after the festival's done, I called the lady because she gave me her phone number. She had her phone number and her name, and I can't remember the name right on a piece of white paper, right? And I kept it because I wanted to talk to her. I really like these hats. I know, guys. I'm not in the material, but these things were cool, man. I wanted them. My God. So I call her. Guess what? Doesn't answer the phone. So I leave a message. Hey, it's Kirk. We spoke about I was going to come back. Oh, because they didn't set them aside for me, right? I said, I'll be back in next week. And, I said to, no, sorry. When I was really talking to her, I said, give me your phone and all this stuff. Right? So then I call her phone number and, get no answer. I get a voicemail. So I said, I'm Kirk, I'm back here and you're not, and so something must have came up with the situation in the family because you're not back here. And I said, brief time, I said, you're probably busy. And I said, well, I'll get in touch with you again. Right. No, does not call me back. Nothing. I said, geez, that's weird. Because even the voicemail didn't say her name or anything. So I call again, about 3 days later. Because I said, well, maybe I can just talk to her, see if she's okay. No, actually it was, 3 or 4 days later, the following week even, after this, and no answer, and the voicemail again. So, and I've had that happen. Some other videos I told you about the lady in El Paso, Texas. That I called there and I got this voice when there was somebody answered briefly, and I said, "Hey, it's Kirk." One of she was a security guard, and somebody was like breathing out the other when they hung up the phone. It was weird. But anyway, so that was a local Mandela effect. Raleigh just said he had a building that had totally changed. Just last week, he said that there was a building that only had like two. It had like the layout was completely different inside the thing. But for example, in the stuff inside, it had like two pool tables, right? He's walking down and looked through the window like a Christmas store and looks in the window and sees that there is like 20 pool, and it's even the whole theme has changed. It's like pool table. He said, "What is going on?" He blows his mind. He goes, "There's like 20 pool tables." So he goes inside and says, "Hey, when did you guys add all these pool tables?" Because he's always on his bike and stuff. He does that riding back in Boise, Idaho. And he said, and they said, the guy goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We've had pool tables like this for at least, for years." He's like, "Well, how long?" And they go, "Well, I don't know, just we have, at least more than, at least more than 2 years." And he's like, "You're kidding me." He goes, "That's something I would know, folks." So anyway, he goes, "I must have misremembered." He joked about it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you more about this story. So this is like a Twilight Zone walking down here, and I cannot believe this store. I mean, seriously, you got to be kidding me. Because, I mean, and what was odd about it is I even remember the paint and everything. I was trying to check it when I was on the outside because Raleigh said one of the buildings he's investigated, the outside was the same, but the inside isn't, and sometimes the inside's different and the outside ain't. But on this one, the outside at that time, it was slightly different the day before because, I mean, not the week before, not the day. This up here had more of a grayish black tone to it, and it changed within a week, so it could have been painted or something different color. But I'm going to show you something spiritual that I remember. I read, the spiritual world has things and signs and messages. What's interesting about this, it's kind of like the good side has taken the right side to some extent and the evil the left. I'll show you why this is so. Because, crystals are kind of cool. They're nature. They're kind of a godly thing. They're kind of, interesting, kind of cool stuff, right? And, we do have a bar lounge, but, what's behind there? I don't know. But we do have some good stuff, I mean, overall. But right across the street, you'll see this. This is beautiful. The Beast RX, all right? Oh, yes. Oh, the Beast, Satan, the Beast, the Beast from the ocean, right there. Look at this. That one's evil. So anyway, I'm not judging the business, but I'm just saying it's the evil presentation that we have. And I'm looking some more. Oh, they got the saloon over there. Oh, the salon. I say, here, that ain't bad. Well, I guess that ain't too bad. That's okay. But anyway, you got the Beast right across the way, so it's a battle between the good and evil. Let's see what else we have here. The porch income, not sure what that is. Main bar and karaoke, another bar, so that can be seen as native over here. Oh, do we have more things? We have the mixed drinks, so which is kind of interesting. We got Giordinelli's, which is not bad. It's a place to eat. But anyway, sometimes you'll see evil and good just really fighting right and left. But, you got the nice little crystals right across the street from I guess a little bit further down the Beast, right? And you get the main bar, right from the bar and karaoke, the face-to-face looking at each other, evil and good. Let's go ahead and go down the street here. And real quick, and I know you're like, well, Kirk, I need to exploring the street, walking down with you. But see, look how it looks really nice. You got these really nice little, cute little buildings and stuff like that. And then the buffet, sushi, whatever here. I don't know. But anyway, so sometimes to be aware, that you can actually look down the streets and see that it's like even on a canyon, there's the side of the canyon that faces the sun, the one that's dark. And I did a video on that about Balboa Park in San Diego. There's the left side of that whole thing where it's got all this evil crap, I mean. And then on the right side, you got churches, the Garden of Eden, and it's all beautiful. A nice little temple. I'm serious. The other side's got all this evil stuff. It's got it's got even statues of these ladies bent over with their breasts sticking out on the buildings, and there's moss and mildew growing on the dang brick. And I mean, it's like, okay, the good's on this side of the street. And so which street do you want to be on, my friends? Wait. So that's the Mandela effect right there. And so it is local, and it's pretty crazy. So that was one of you got to realize at that time, that was my first local, because when it gets local, it gets more personable. And I'm like, woo, I said, whoa, I really have been transported to another Earth timeline reality because once you get a local one, man, that really freaks you out. But it's okay because I met with the guys with the, and here in California, the Mandela effect community with Brian and Dose of Reality. And one of them, he said he had to watch a movie twice because he saw it. I can't remember which movie it was, but he said I saw it a year with my sister and her boyfriend. And he came back a year later. They said, this movie just got released, and he goes, I've already seen it, man. I sat in the theater with you, and he said I was bored the entire time. He goes, I had to watch it twice. Can you imagine sitting in a theater with a movie that's supposed to have been released its first time? And then a year later, he said his sister called and said, let's go. And he goes out with her again, his sister and her boyfriend, and has to watch the same dang first release of a movie. I'm trying to remember the movie. Oh, darn it, wish you could. I'm looking at him and said, that's kind of awkward. He goes, yeah. He goes, but I was bored. He goes, because I'm like, and I didn't know what to say when they asked me. I said, well, I figure I'll just go see it again, I guess, because I don't want to explain to him the Mandela effect. I don't want to be rude. And he goes, so he goes down there and watches the movie twice. And he said, he goes, no, that's a time ripple. That's a Mandela effect with time. And so even Mandela effects can be time, people, or places, or situations, everything that we see, touch, or smell. Now, smell would be interesting. Do we actually have a smell Mandela effect? I don't know. We do know that there's a taste Mandela effect where there's actually they said there's a new thing about your tongue that you can taste. I saw that they always say discovered, well, introduced. You can take discovered to put it as introduced Mandela effect when it's actually new here. About something about it tastes more like a chemical that tastes like meat. It helps you identify meats and stuff. Another flavor in your tongue. It used to be salt. It used to be sweet, bitter. Those things in your tongue. Well, this one has where you can actually eat meat, but see that is interesting. That you can taste. It has special chemical receptors just for meat. Anyway, which could be a cool thing too, because if you're a vegan or something like that, they said that they can modify. Not that they done with the chemicals, but you don't want to eat these chemicals, folks. There's artificial sweeteners and stuff. But anyway, then they can maybe mix the ingredients in a way that has more of a meat flavor. All right. Anyway, God bless. There is my local Mandela effect. I don't see anything else in there. My goodness. Well, we got the upside down. What's the name of that street? Bridge? I guess that's a bridge to heaven or something, or a bridge, or an arc. But anyway, you got the upside down. It's just yellow in the middle. You can't see what that light is. So anyway, that was mine. Could you imagine? It's shocking because it's like what happens when you walk in a building that's completely different or something like that. All right, God bless.